No doubt about it, HCG is killing your protocol, but not like you think. You're going to see a lot of folks on the web talking about banishing HCG from the use of TRT protocols. God, HCG made my libido go south. It gave me ED. It could feminize you, gives me anxiety, gives me sleeplessness, all these side effects. And yeah, HCG absolutely has the ability in context, right? This is really important, in context, to give you all manner of side effects and cause sexual dysfunction. There's just no fucking doubt about it. But it's in the nuances, actually, that determine whether or not HCG is super beneficial for you or an absolute disaster to your TRT protocol. And I want to get into this because there is a lot of confusion on the web and there are a lot of blanket statements. HCG is bad or you need HCG. I'm not here to say that it's bad. I'm here to say if you don't use it right, it's going to kill your protocol. Let's get into it. All right, before we start the video, Cortex Labs, which is my company, is a TRT guidance and sexual dysfunction resolution company. Got a range of different TRT-based products and sexual function optimization products. The most primary thing is coaching. Again, fixing libido and erection issues on TRT or from the use of hair loss drugs. All packages are 50% off right now. You're working one-on-one with me, full protocol architecture. We've resolved these issues. Been doing it for years. You can hire me in under a minute, livecortex.com. Coupon code COACH discount saves you 50%. Sourceless, any anabolic you can think of, the stuff you need to maybe circumvent your clinic to get, including high-potency DHT gel, get it at livecortex.com. And newly launched, Mastering Testosterone Cream. It is a video course, about 40 minutes long, straight to the point. Only the protocols with cream that work. Dispelling all of the BS myths about cream, how to dial in sexual function with testosterone cream. Newly launched, down in the description of this video. Look, there is a lot of information on Reddit about HCG. And threads like this. Real reason why HCG causes erectile dysfunction. This is why people are confused about this, because you got threads that are saying like pretty definitively HCG causes erectile dysfunction. And by the way, it can. This guy goes most likely to the fact that it increases estrone levels even more than estradiol. I think this paper was actually in monkeys and they were female monkeys. So like if you didn't go read the paper, you'd be like, oh, HCG causes erectile dysfunction. No wonder why when I take it, I get ED. We're going to get to why that might happen in a bit. Here's an interesting one. Guy hadn't taken HCG forever on TRT. Started, he had ED due to a drug that he was taking for ADHD, like dopamine reuptake inhibitor. A couple weeks into taking HCG, erections were back without any ED meds, and they were very strong. But in a couple of days thereafter, the ED was back, and now I can't get much of an erection. So the whole thing is just very confusing, but there's an answer to this puzzle, and it's that HCG either kills or helps your sexual function, depending on the context of the protocol in which it's used. All right, so let's talk about some main points on why HCG is killing your TRT protocol and what to do about it. All right, number one, if the HCG goes bad, listen, unless you're using pregnenolone, okay, which according to the manufacturer is stable in refrigerated temperatures for between 30 and 60 days, which by the way is super vague. I mean, call that 35 days, honestly. Unless you're using that stuff, most HCG that you're going to get, especially including the UGL HCG, you got to reconstitute it every 3 weeks, guys. If you don't do that, then the peptide starts denaturing, which it usually does at about week 3.5, pushing week 4. But I don't even think you want to push it that long. Well, then you're never going to dial in sexual function because your estradiol is going like this. It's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. You never really get it at the stable Goldilocks zone, which is generally where you need to be. I mean, you could be at 20 estradiol and erections are good, but libido is going to start to fail a little bit, usually. And then you shoot up to 35, 40, libido might be fine, but erections start going south. Again, that estrogen number's got to be in your zone, and the zone within the zone is usually 27 to 30 picograms per milliliter, generally 20 to 35. But if you shoot up to 45 and then you're back down to 27, you only have a small window within which erections are working within like your week as an example. And then you're just never going to dial in and stay peak sexual function consistently. Look, I mean, I've talked to guys who leave their HCG in the fridge for 2 months, and they're wondering why their protocols are unstable. Like, that's the answer. Guys, you got to reconstitute the stuff. In my opinion, if it's UGL, every 3 weeks. If it's pregnenolone, every 4 weeks. All right. It does lose potency over time. It is not the same, at week 4 with pregnenolone even. than it was at week 2. When you open a vial of HCG and reconstitute it, that's when it's most effective, and it's going to be most effective for about 3 weeks. If that sucks because HCG is expensive, just get source list and go get the HCG. It's like 10 vials, 5,000 IU per vial for like cheaper than 1 vial is at the clinics. Number 2 reason HCG could be killing your protocol is, listen, if your dose of testosterone is too high and you're just one of those people that's selectively not using an AI, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but you can't be up there in the super high estrogen numbers and expect to have perfect sexual function. Then you have HCG, 250 IU every day or every other day even, 500 IU 2 times a week, 3 times a week. I see these weird protocols with HCG. HCG is not going to be your friend, and it's going to kill your TRT protocol because it works best in context. When maybe E2's at 20 and you're using the HCG, you can dose a little more, 200 IU a day, 300 IU a day, and it takes it up to 27. You're in the sweet spot. Sexual function's perfect. But I mean, if you're at 180 milligrams of test a week and you think you're doing something, regarding estradiol lowering because you're doing daily injections, which at those high doses, it's fucking futile to do daily injections to control estrogen. I mean, you're still going to over aromatize. Then you have your 250 IU HCG every other day, call it. It's not helping you. All it's doing is contributing to the main problem, which is your estrogen's too high, and therefore sexual function is not going to be great. Again, we're going to expand upon this a little bit later. I've seen these cases where HCG is your friend if your TRT protocol, like the test itself, is kind of just like a modest dose, right? Man, you're at 100 milligrams a week. E2 falls around 18 to 22 picograms per milliliter. Sexual function's pretty good, but then you've got 300 IU of HCG every day. Your E2 goes to 28, and you're just firing on all cylinders at that point. You're not going to get to that Goldilocks zone of sexual function with like too high of a testosterone dose where you're over-aromatizing already, and then you bring HCG in. This is why people have ED with HCG, why they might feel feminized, where they have anxiety, where they have side effects, insomnia, acne, all this shit. It's in the context of a TRT protocol that's already over-aromatizing. Do you think HCG, which stimulates the Leydig cells in the testes to make more estradiol, independent of the testosterone that it creates, which also aromatizes into more estradiol, with too high of a dose of TRT, is going to fucking help you? It's not. It's going to make things worse, and you're going to be one of those guys in the forums going, HCG sucks, HCG sucks, HCG causes ED. Maybe it's from this female monkey study, which makes no sense. If you get your dose of testosterone to where E2 falls 18 to 22 or so, you can afford more HCG, and it's almost always going to be beneficial. Number 3 reason HCG can be killing your protocol is you're dosing it too infrequently. Now, look, there are cases in which, especially if you're controlled on E2 with tests, whether by lowering your dose or by having an AI, we're dosing twice a week, 500 IU or 700 IU or something twice a week of HCG is fine because estrogen doesn't really go over range and you stay in your sweet spot because you're controlling estrogen otherwise. But on, even moderately high doses, kind of mid-range doses, like call the 130 milligrams of testosterone cypionate per week, if you're dosing HCG too infrequently, in bolus amounts, like 500, 600 IU at a time, twice a week even. I mean, it's only 1,200 IU a week. It's not a lot. It's less than I'm taking. But that's going to cause, number 1, probably some over-aromatization, but 2, the fluctuation in E2 where libido, erection, sensation is never just going to be consistent throughout the week. You might have a peak and all of that stuff, and then it troughs and you could care less about sex. If you want it to be stable, don't bolus dose HCG. The best way to dose HCG, considering its half-life, which is only a couple days, it takes about a week and some change to get steady state, is every day of your life, or max in frequency every other day. I mean, dosing HCG infrequently in these bolus amounts alone could kill your TRT protocol, all right? Via both the fluctuations in estradiol, so you never get a stable baseline at all, and by over-aromatizing, making you over-aromatize. Number 4 reason HCG, just having it in your protocol, could be killing your protocol is you're not using enough of it. Listen, I see these cases, let me expand upon this, where people get better libido, better erections, better sensation with more HCG, which means they either have to control estrogen with an AI or DHT derivative, or they've got to use lower end test doses. That's what I see more frequently because AIs are hard to dial in. People are sitting at 100 milligrams a week, 92 milligrams a week, but they got 300 IU, 350 IU of HCG a day. E2's at 25 and they're fucking perfect. That's a higher end HCG dose. with a lower end T dose. This happens more often than you would think. Another example would be two pumps of the 200 milligram per milliliter cream. Again, I don't really suggest starting with that. I broke that down in Mastering Testosterone Cream for Libido and Erections, which just launched. But if you're going to use it, 2 pumps is a reasonable dose. It's kind of on the lower end of the 200 milligram per milliliter stuff. Then you could afford more HCG at 300 IU a day, and you end up in the zone regarding sexual function. But you have to determine, are you one of those people that needs more HCG for the testicular system, the sex organ tissues to be enlivened more for sensation, libido, erections, climax to be intact at the best level they can be? And a lot of folks are that way. More folks than you'd think, and that's a discovery of mine that I've noticed over the past couple of years that I am talking about more and more, which shows us it's all about context, man. Yeah, you got the high doses of T, too much estradiol, then higher doses of HCG are not your fucking friend. You got a lower dose of T, estradiol sitting around 18, HCG is totally your friend. Number 5 reason HCG could be killing your protocol is you took the bad advice to megadose pregnenolone on TRT. Listen, I want to make this clear. I have never seen pregnenolone be part of a TRT protocol that helps someone dial in. I have seen it cause ED, though, for days until the pregnenolone's out of the system. Ultimately, the progesterone stops inhibiting 5-alpha reductase enzymes or blocking DHT. With HCG, you're making some intratesticular pregnenolone, which is going to convert to progesterone. That's enough usually, okay? We're not meant to have loads of fucking progesterone, okay? So you took the advice, of someone on the web that said, hey, you should dose 100 milligrams of pregnenolone a day, which is obscene to me, and you're also dosing HCG, making more pregnenolone. Then you've got an overage of progesterone. You're blocking the 5-alpha reductase enzymes. You're blocking your DHT, and you're going to have sexual dysfunction when you block DHT. Dude, there is a paper on this. It is titled Effects of Sex Steroids on Skin 5-alpha reductase Activity in Vitro. This is really important, particularly 5-alpha reductase 2, which is in the genital skin. You don't want to be inhibiting that. By the way, in this paper, they found that estradiol, to a minor extent, inhibits 5-alpha reductase activity, so please keep that in mind. But ultimately, they conclude that progesterone, and the 19 derivatives inhibit 5-alpha reductase activity at high doses. Prior in the study, they show us where progesterone, which comes from pregnenolone, inhibits 5-alpha reductase, and it's in the genital skin. So listen, it's hard to know what advice to take regarding TRT on YouTube. I fully understand that. And you got, one TRT person saying this and another TRT YouTuber saying this, so it's a little confusing and you don't know who to believe. In the end, though, the literature should be your legend. And understanding what progesterone does to a male, namely block you from becoming a male in the womb, but secondarily, as you're an adult, inhibit 5-alpha reductase activity. I mean, you're inhibiting your male life force by blocking DHT, which is what high loads of pregnenolone will do in the context of using HCG as well. Major takeaway, if you're using HCG, don't take pregnenolone, okay? And also, in my experience as a coach on TRT, which I do from 9 in the morning until about 5, 6 p.m. every weekday for years now, pregnenolone is not helpful, okay? More harmful than helpful. If people are telling you to megadose pregnenolone, please think twice. The last reason that HCG might be killing your protocol, or the use of, lack thereof, the wrong usage of HCG might be killing your TRT protocol, is you're not using it. Listen, I firmly believe at this point that most of us need HCG. I do see these anomalous outliers who can tolerate no HCG, or at least they claim it. I've never actually seen that with a real person. Never once. So in other words, statement, with all the clients that I've worked with over the years, no one's ever been able to not take HCG and have consistently good sexual function. That's just my experience. But let's say a certain subset of people don't have to use HCG. Totally believable. You're probably not one of them. You guys remember Leo and longevity? This is what he has to say about the matter.
When their balls shrink from using hormones for a long time and they haven't maintained them, guess what? Their orgasms are less strong. So you need the system to work. You can't replace the system. So get the system working again, and in the future, you should be using a replacement dose of HCG or HMG or HCG and RFSH almost all the time when you're on hormones. Really, you should. So just having enough androgen signaling will make your balls shrink, And when your balls do shrink, even though you have androgens, there is no such thing as hormone replacement therapy. It's all somewhat bullshit. When that system itself inside doesn't work, your whole sex drive doesn't work properly.
All right, this is a legend in our space who, was ruthlessly scientific about much of what he said. Most of what he's ever said. And I'm on board with that. Listen, HCG, keeping the testicles functional, the entire sex organ tissue flowing, specifically with DHT. Because if you just take testosterone, guess what you lose if you don't use HCG? You lose the 5-alpha reductase content and activity in the testicles, which you need to be producing more DHT. You atrophy the testicles significantly. You're now without that intratesticular DHT. And you truly, truly need that for good sexual function. Okay, so that's the last reason. You're not using it at all. What does this say? I think a lot of people might still, even though I've been clear as I can be a little confused about this. Yes, most folks need HCG. Yes, HCG can totally kill your TRT protocol if it's used in the wrong context. Namely, too high estrogen signaling already, and then you're just layering HCG on top of that, making that situation that's causing you sexual dysfunction a lot worse. If you're on the lower end test doses, or with an AI, you get the estrogen around 20, you can afford more HCG. This is where HCG becomes good. Then all it does is increase the intratesticular DHT, increase sensation, libido, climax, erection quality. There is a reason that we've got these luteinizing hormone chorionic gonadotropin receptors in the testicles. Can't just shut them down. So that's it, folks. Let this be the nail in the coffin. It's not that HCG is bad or not bad. It's not that testosterone is bad or not bad. It's all about the context. You've got to make the numbers work and the tissues be enlivened with the hormones they need for you to have proper sexual function on TRT. And that's just it. However, look, if you don't want to go at this alone, and I don't blame you for that, we've got coaching for this. TRT, HRT coaching, specifically for resolving libido and erection issues on TRT or from the use of hair loss drugs. This is what I do all day, every day for years. Right now, coaching with me is 50% off. There's a 1 month, a 3 month, a 6 month. There are some other consults that you can purchase with me, but all the coaching packages are 50% off. The code for that is coach discount. It saves thousands of dollars on any coaching program that you've been eyeing and looking to do. The moment we start, we don't wait. We're on the fact-finding call. We get protocol architecture started, and we begin. Hire me in under a minute, livecortex.com. Please use the code. It's also in the description. It will save you thousands of dollars. Do not pay full price for coaching right now when this code is active. Source list, any anabolic you can think of, including the high-potency DHT gel, which a lot of people really fucking benefit from. You can get it down below or at livecortex.com. And again, recently launched the video you guys have been waiting for, Mastering Testosterone Cream for Libido and Erections, where we break down and dispel the myths that drive people in the wrong direction when they're using cream, but specifically how to dial in libido and erections on testosterone cream. It is all my experience with cream infused into a video course, and you can download it instantly right now at livecortex.com. All right, the conclusion of the video is here, and sub to the channel because now we're growing pretty rapidly, and hope you guys had a great weekend. Hold on. Can't even think. What is wrong with this chair? God. Damn it. Like the video, boys. Honestly, like the video. Takes a second. It's free to do. Makes a huge difference. Sub to the You think after a month of forgetting the mic on the last part here, I would remember, but slipped my mind again is all. Just grab it. Give me this! God, I'm gonna put a Post-it on my monitors here. The video's over. Been a pleasure hanging out with you, boys. Hope you had a great weekend. And yeah, please like the video. It makes a huge difference. Honestly, if you want to do anything for me, just hit the like button. It takes you a second, free to do. Makes a huge difference. Sub to the channel, one of the fastest growing TRT channels where we break down the science of fixing libido and erections on hormones. That is what we do. I'd love to have you on board. Kick ass, rock on content all this week and live stream this Saturday. Now I'll talk to you boys in the next one.